He just wanted us together.
You see, your granddaddy was really an accountant who volunteered to be the school band director. Here he comes. Oh no, girl, he wore the hat.
Family. Isn't it about time?
All together now.
That's our dad. That's him.
Now listen, there's a couple more points that I have to make with this sugar deal, and I'll just get right into it. Sugar interferes with the absorption of proteins and calcium and other minerals in the body. What does that mean? What does that really say? That's saying to me that when I put this white processed sugar in my body, yes, I will be leaching out my calcium and trace minerals, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, causing my body to become starved on a nutritional level. But the point I want to drive here as far as the proteins, a lot of people are developing high blood pressure, and one of the #1 reasons is because the proteins are not being digested, so they're floating into the bloodstream and they're clogging up the kidneys and causing all type of havoc. Well, sugar is one of the #1 culprits that causes that process to happen. It also retards the growth of valuable lower bowel bacteria. Well, what's lower bowel bacteria? Well, we'll just leave it like this. 85% of the bacteria in your lower bowel is disease producing. I'll repeat that. 85% of your lower bowel bacteria is disease producing. When? How do I know? When you go to have a bowel movement and the odor is so foul that it actually chokes you, yeah, it chokes you, that is when you can know for 100% certainty that your lower bowel bacteria is disease producing. It's not producing health, it's producing disease. Sugar feeds that bacteria. It's the #1 cause for, or one of the #1 cause for mental illnesses, and it also causes memory loss. And we have entire conglomerates of information on this, and I want to make sure that you guys are aware of it, because you can call us at the office. Dr. Inyebe, my partner and colleague here in Atlanta, Georgia, will provide you with all the information to understand this even more so in a more detailed manner. And that number at the office is 404-880-5598. 404-880-5598. You can call us and we'll be more than happy to equip you with all the knowledge and information about these particular 6 foods and how to properly combine them. One of the other #1 foods that's a danger to the body is enriched flours. Anytime you're looking on your bread and in your flours and you see it says enriched, you need to understand that the word enriched does not mean it has been enhanced. That means it has been devitalized. That means that any nutrients that God had put naturally into the grain or the germ of the wheat or the bread that you're using has been stripped. And when that happens, that means you're taking in white processed flour, which basically turns into glue inside your intestines, and it sticks, and it retards the body from allowing the peristalsis to continue. This is a dietary no-no. It's one of the most acid-forming foods that you can put in the body. It also is one of the most constipating foods that you can put in the body. Remember, when you see enriched flours, run. The other thing that I want to share with you is hydrogenated oils. Those oils that's hydrogenated or partially hydrogenated, you see those in your potato chips and those vegetable oils. Run from them. Why? Because every 36 seconds, someone in America and Canada has a heart attack or a stroke. And why is that? That's because the arteries are clogging. Why? Because we're using these hydrogenated oils. And not only are we using these hydrogenated oils, we're also cooking these oils. You know what I mean. That fried chicken, that deep fried fish, that fried okra. Yeah, when you take those hydrogenated and partially hydrogenated oils and you heat them past 90 degrees, you then change the molecular structure of these oils, and your body can't digest it. So what happens? These oils begin to build up along the arterial walls, inside the gallbladder, inside the liver. It begins to make gallstones, and it clogs up these arteries. And guess what? Dr. Frankenstein is waiting on you to allow these arteries to continue to clog so he can charge you about $150,000 a pop to give you an open heart surgery. And in most cases, you're going to get a valve of a Hall to replace the valve if there's any damage done. Why? Because you decided to continue to eat that fried chicken, that fried fish, and what else are we eating fried though? Anything that we're frying past 90 degrees, we're doing ourselves a disservice, and it's going to block up our arteries. Listen to me, people. I'm trying to give you as much information I can in a short period of time so that you can make practical application at home so that you and your family and your loved ones can begin to live life in a more abundant way that God intended you to. Now, hold on to your seats. Get those pen and pencils out. I'll be right back.
Hi, this is Vicky White here at Open Window, and I'm in Whitesburg, Georgia, at the beautiful Manning Resort area, and it's just a beautiful place. And I want you to continue to watch Open Window because we're going to be bringing you some wonderful places in the state of Georgia that you can take your family and enjoy the sceneries. Stay tuned for more of Open Window right here, a passageway to your mind.
No, this is it. I like this part. We never missed the practice. Never! It was kind of hard when your dad was a band leader.
He did pretty good, though.
Especially when he walked us to school. Come on, kids. Do you remember that silly-looking hat?
Yeah, we practiced every morning, even though we were never very good.
It didn't matter to him, though.
He just wanted us together.
You see, your granddaddy was really an accountant who volunteered to be the school band director. Here he comes.
Oh, no, girl. He wore the hat.
Family. Isn't it about time?
All together now.
That's our dad.
That's him.
Thank you for coming back. I know I'm overloading you with a lot of information. Some of you have probably never heard this before, but it's okay. God said it's time for you to get it. It's time for you to take responsibility and accountability for your own health. Now, one of the most absurd things that I've ever noticed about our culture, and I too participated in it until my eyes became open, and that's how we as mammals began to wean our offsprings off our own natural milk and then put our offsprings on the milk of another animal. That is totally absurd in the animal kingdom. And we being a part of the human kingdom, made in the image and likeness of God, we've just set ourselves up for a major boo-boo. What am I saying? I'm saying that it takes a calf about from the age of birth or time of birth or weight of birth, 65 pounds in a year's time to reach 300 pounds within a year's time. What am I saying? I'm saying that the enzymes in the cow's milk are naturally designed to allow that cow or that calf to grow at an accelerated rate like that. We do not grow that fast. Our enzymatic system, support system in the body are not designed to facilitate that type of growth. So what happens when you take your baby off of the breast milk and put it on the milk of a cow? You then begin to cause atherosclerosis, increased blood cholesterols, produces pyorrhea, causes obesity, causes abnormalities of calcium absorption in the body. What am I saying? I'm saying that yes, it's true. The more cow's milk that you drink and put in your body, the more calcium that you are depleting out of your body. I know we've been taught that we need to drink more milk to get more calcium. That's not the case. Actually, it's the opposite. The more the cow's milk you put in your body, the more deficient your bone density will become in the calcium it needs to continue to facilitate a healthy skeletal system for you. We need to understand that milk is also one of the leading causes for chronic constipation, diarrhea, allergies, eczema, and psoriasis. It's also leading cause for degenerative eye conditions known as glaucoma and cataracts. If you do any of your homework, you'll see the word catarrh in the Greek, catarrh or catarrh, which derives the Greek word for mucus. And where are we getting this mucus from? From the dairy. Bella the cow was not supposed to be drank. The milk from Bella was not supposed to be drank. But we're doing this to make that macaroni and cheese. We're doing it to make that dough for that peach cobbler. We're doing it and we're causing destruction and disease to our own bodies. Somebody needs to wake us up and let us know, wait a minute, we are on the wrong path. And that's what we're attempting to do here at the Inner You. The other food that I want to talk about briefly is flesh. You need to understand this. I know you and you and you and you, also you over there in the corner as well, have your own different ideologies about meat based on your religious backgrounds. Well, we're not here to discuss that. We're here to look at things from the natural law. Every animal that God designed to eat flesh has a 5-foot colon or less. We as human beings, made in the image and likeness of God, has 26 feet of intestines, 21 feet small intestines, and 5 feet large intestines. It was not designed to eat flesh. Understand, it was not designed to eat flesh. What am I saying? I'm saying that when you take this red meat that takes 7 to 14 days to digest just 1 ounce, and that's if you eat nothing else for those 14 days, it's going to putrefy in your system and it's going to cause your colon to develop some type of colon dis-ease. Why? Because it's already started to rot and putrefy by the time you cook it. Once you cook it, you have to add some type of seasoning to it because you just can't eat it the way that it tastes. So we're going to go and get all of these sea salts or Lawry's and whatever we want to use to appease our taste buds just so we can eat this stuff. Now, what is it doing to us? Well, men especially, when you're eating this red meat, it enlarges itself in the sigmoid part of the colon, which then the colon begins to become strictured or spastic or balloon or develop some type of itis to it. What happened? Those poisons from that food spoiling and rotting or putrefying in that part of the colon then moves into your prostate gland. And the prostate gland absorbs these poisons. And I have to come right back at you. Please call your grandparents. Let them know. Tune in. We'll be right back.
On the same day that I signed the legislation establishing this site, I signed bills that established 2 other sites, not nearly so well known. One was in Massachusetts and the other one was in Ohio. And both of them were designed to commemorate the courage and the suffering of slaves who had escaped in the South and had found a haven in the North. That was a time in history that was evocative and promising. When the Civil War was over and the Emancipation Proclamation was signed, many people breathed a sigh of relief and gratitude, and perhaps all too often went back into a dormant state. And I say to you quite frankly that the time for racial discrimination is over. I said that because of Martin Luther King Jr. and his life's impact on me. I commissioned a special portrait of Martin Luther King Jr. to be hung in the state capitol. Now that seems to be a very innocent and natural thing to do, a Nobel Prize winner, world hero. I didn't have any white neighbors as a farm boy. All my neighbors, all my playmates were African American, my black neighbors. My mother was a registered nurse. She was gone quite often. My daddy was a very busy man. I spent my time with our neighbors. And they shaped my life. When I went to the creek to fish, it was my young playmate, A.D. Davis. When I spent the night, when my mother and father were not there, it was with Jack and Rachel Clark, who lived on the corner. They had a tiny shack, still there, which you can see. They slept in a tiny bedroom on the end of the house. I slept on a pallet on the floor next to the wall. Those were times that are now forgotten because there was no thought of civil rights. There were no Martin Luther King Jr.'s. There were no distinguished American lawyers to question the Supreme Court ruling of separate but equal.